Blessed are ye that hunger now, for ye shall be filled. Blessed are ye that weep, for ye shall laugh. But woe unto you that are rich, for ye shall receive. You have received your consolation. Woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep. Protocol all observed, as well as the name, first speaker from the affirmative side. Christianity today is an immensely complex and varied institution. As a religion, itself attests, but in the hands of anyone, it is applied to less predictable ends. According to the Collins English Dictionary, accusing someone to be a hypocrite means they pretend to have qualities, beliefs, or feelings they do not really have, in this case being those of Christianity. Since the Bible is the authority for the Christian faith, let's see what it says about the word Christian. The word is used 3 times in the New Testament, and in each instance it is referring to the first Christian, the horrible injustices of this world. They keep on benefiting from them. But in John Anson's words, going to the store and expecting to find what we seek, or that the main problem is our own thinking is keeping us mediocre, and that's hindering people's success. Capitalism requires free market economy to succeed. It distributes goods and services according to the laws of supply and demand. The law of demand says that when demand increases for a particular product, prices rises. When competitors realize they can make a higher profit, they increase production. The greatest supplier reduces prices to a level where only the best competitors remain. Capitalism doesn't cater for those who lack competitive skills. This includes the elderly, your children, the developmentally disabled, and caretakers. To keep society functioning, capitalism requires government policies that value the family unit. Despite the idea of a level playing field, capitalism does not promote equality of opportunity. Those without the proper nutrition, support, and education may never make it into the playing field. Capitalism ignores external costs, such as pollution and climate change. This makes goods cheaper and more accessible in the short run. But over time, it depletes natural resources, lowers the quality of life in the affected areas, and increases costs for everyone. Some critics say that the problem are signs of late-stage capitalism. They argue that capitalism's flaws mean it has evolved past its usefulness to society. They don't realize that capitalism's flaws are endemic to the system, regardless of the phase it is in. Jesus did not tell us to expect our narrow-minded ones and dreams to be fulfilled on our own terms, and that God's will would make them come true to be aggressively so. He also never said we would prosper materially. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they're doing. On the contrary, Jesus told us to turn from our selfish ways, to pick our crosses and follow him, and that it wouldn't be easy. Ever try to push a camel through the eye of a needle? Sure enough. He promised us salvation and eternal life, but only at the gruesome price of the cross. In that creation stained by sin could die away with him and ultimately be resurrected into perfection. Disregarding doctrines of salvation itself, the radical social justice which is capitalism, demanded by the teachings of Christ as well as the New Testament overall, is also obviously utterly discordant with the modern capitalism as such. Jesus said unto him, if thou wilt be perfect, go and sell all that thou hast, and give to the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven, and come and follow me. That's Matthew chapter 16, verse 21. But love your enemies, and do good, learn, hoping for nothing in gain, and your reward shall be great. And ye shall be the children of the highest, for he is kind unto the unthankful and to the evil. But ye therefore be merciful, as your Father is also merciful. Luke 6, verse 35. These admonitions are to love our neighbors unconditionally, to give while expecting nothing in return, and to care for the well-being of our fellow humans to such an extent that we ought to renounce all of our property just to alleviate some of their suffering. It is impossible to reconcile with a form of society which concentrates on wealth and power in the hands of an absolute minority, and power in the hands of an absolute minority, and leaves the hungry and the poor utterly voiceless, or which approaches them with derision and contempt, eschewing the common good, which even robbing the common good in exchange for the private good of the life. It is not a coincidence that the only people Jesus ever displayed any real anger against were the money changers in the temple. In this regard, is Occupy Wall Street really so far off base, even if they don't have the 5-point set of concrete demands? Is feeling the inconsistency between the political message that co-opts Christianity as if it's at the heart of party's message and the reality of it?
Can you have the first speaker from the religion side?
All points are observed. I am Tony Sidaba from the opposition side, and I'm the first speaker. So what I'm just here to do is not a lot, but to just unpack the motion that we are debating, and then the other team members will continue to debate which I think is something that the leader, the first speaker from the affirmative side has not done, and I think it will help us to point the line of our debate. So the motion says Christian capitalism is hypocrisy. And I want to be specific, it does not say Christian capitalists are hypocrites. Right? And I want us, in order to understand this motion, to look at the etymology of the word Christian, which he has already kind of unpacked from the scriptures in terms of Acts and the other scriptures that he quoted. But what I want us to look at is that in the context of this motion, the word Christian is an adjective which describes the type of capitalism that we are talking about. So Christian capitalism is a kind of capitalism, and therefore we are distinguishing it from other types of capitalism. For example, Jewish capitalism, for example, Islamic capitalism, which would be different from what we call Christian capitalism. Because, for example, Jewish capitalism is based on Jewish beliefs. It's practiced according to Jewish beliefs, which is about keeping the wealth within the family. And similar things also happen in Islamic capitalism. But what we also see is how they sell, what kind of products they sell. In their shops, you would not see them selling alcohol, for example, because that is against their beliefs, right? You would see them selling food that is halal, because that is according to what? Their beliefs. So when we're talking about Christian capitalism, it's a type of capitalism that is founded and practiced according to the beliefs and the values of Christianity. And then when we look at capitalism, capitalism is a system, an economic system and a political system which does not involve just the people who are owners of means of production, which is the only people that the opposition has. I'm not taking it. Which is the only people that the leader has only referred to. It involves owners of the means of production. It involves people who are workers in the factories, who are producing services. And it also involves the buyers. Right? And then, that is the system that we're talking about. And then when we look at hypocrisy, he defined it very well, and I'm not going to go deep into it. But what I just want to emphasize is that when we're talking about hypocrisy, if you are talking about Christian capitalism, it means you are practicing capitalism according to Christian values and beliefs. And then what would hypocrisy be? Hypocrisy would be a Muslim practicing capitalism according to Christian beliefs. For example, the person who was the leader who was taking offering said there are people who are using kingdom principles, right? Who are not Christian. They're using kingdom principles and they're benefiting from that. So in this case, hypocrisy would be claiming to be a Christian and not practicing your capitalism according to Christian values and beliefs. For example, the Bible says in the book of Leviticus chapter 19 verse 13, you must not defraud your neighbor or rob him. You must not withhold until morning the wages due to a higher hand. Which suggests that you cannot exploit your workers. That is a Christian principle on the basis of which our capitalism as Christians should be practiced. I can take your point of information.
Yes. So on the point of information, so what you're forgetting, what you're doing to mislead the House is believing that capitalism, if practiced in a certain space, it changes its tenets. The tenets of capitalism, they remain the same whether practiced in England or in South Africa.
But what you are missing my point, my point is that it's not that the capitalism changes, but the values and beliefs according to which it is practiced. That you cannot deny. Because as Christians, we do not practice or do business like Muslims would do, because that is against our values and beliefs. I'm not taking it. So let me finish up. Time is up.
80 seconds left.
That is basically what we're arguing, and all our points are based on the idea that the capitalism we're talking about is not a secular capitalism, but it is a Christian capitalism, which is a capitalism that is practiced according to the values and beliefs of followers of Christ, which are codified in the scriptures. Thank you very much.
Chairperson of the Senate.
Can I start?
We are well aware that the first institution, education institution, was within the church. So today we are going to educate the opposition side. And we are well aware that the first hospital was found within the church. So today we are going to give your ignorance. First of all, Chairperson, we are in the midst of utmost confusion. The speaker right now talked about Christian capitalism, I talked about Jewish capitalism, I talked about secular capitalism. There is no such. It's only capitalism. The basic information about capitalism is based on the fact of exploitation. I am rich, you are poor, and I am benefiting from your poverty. So, Chairperson of the city, we are saying that, as my first speaker has alluded, that capitalism is a system where it functions by the law of supply and demand. Wherever there is a demand, there will always be a supply. So the fact that you are poor means that I will benefit from the capitalism. So what we are trying to say then is that such a system should not be found within the church. For the mere fact that the church, it should be a system where we are able to coexist with one another. Not by the mere fact of me benefiting from your own poverty. Chairperson of the city, what we are trying to say today is that any system that lets millions die each and every day because of profit is incompatible within the church of God. And what we are trying to say is that capitalism is not based on the principles of justice. Because what you find in capitalism is that it creates a system where people that are higher will benefit from people that are lower. So now I'm going to quote a verse from the book of Deuteronomy, verse 24, 19 to 22. So it says, when you gather the grapes in the vineyard, you do not glean it. But afterward, you shall share with the sojourner, the fatherless, and the widow. What it's trying to say is that in a system within the church, we need to adopt something called socialism, meaning that the fact that all of us are within the kingdom of God, we should share the wealth that we benefit each and every day with our fellow brothers and sisters. So you are your sister's keeper, you are your brother's keeper. But capitalism says the fact that you are my brother, I should benefit from your poverty. Keep that in mind. Another verse in the book of Ecclesiastes, verse 3, verse 13, it says, it is God's gift to humankind that everyone should eat and drink. Meaning that what we find within the Church of God, it simply says everyone should eat regardless of your class. But capitalism, what it puts into our minds, it says the fact that you are poor, you shouldn't eat. But the fact that I am rich, I should be able to benefit from your own poverty. Again, another thing that I need to put to you is that capitalism, it promotes the spirit of competitiveness. The problem with being competitive is that I don't look at you as my brother's keeper or my sister's keeper. I see you as a potential client. What we find within the system of capitalism is a system where we are not brethren, we are not churchgoers, we are not kephas. Rather, we are clients and marketers. Chairperson of the city, what I want to say again is that within the kingdom of God, when Paul addresses all the churches,
Point of information.
not taken. Within the kingdom of God, when Paul addresses the churches, he says, my fellow brethren, or the church itself. He doesn't say potential clients. I take it.
You argue that in the church we should use socialism, but Marx, who is the father of socialism, and he's the one who sets the manifesto of what socialism is about, argues that religion is the opium of the masses, which suggests that it's just a medicine that we give to people. And then how do you mix that with Christianity when it is clearly against the existence of
Can
God?
I answer that? What you find problematic is that the very same Marx that you're quoting also talked about capitalism. And what you fail to find is that the fact that Marx said that particular statement does not necessarily mean that socialism is Marxism. What we need to understand within the Church of God is that whatever codes that you try to come up with, it does not nullify the fact that capitalism has failed in most of the states that we find in our world. So if we take South Africa as a church, South Africa, which exists as a capitalistic country, you would find that it has the highest Gini coefficient. People that are poor people that are rich are benefiting from the people that are poor. Which means that in South Africa, the wealth that is in the hands of people that are rich is actually from the poverty that people are suffering today. So what we are trying to say within the church right now is that capitalism is wrong and we shouldn't vie for it. Thank you.
protocol of the House observed. I seem to concur with the first speaker with regards to the parameters of this conversation. But one thing that he misses, he conflicts two types of capitalism, which is the secular type of capitalism and the Christian type of capitalism. So what would be the importance of the adjective Christian in the motion, so that you should ponder upon? And you only understand capitalism as only involving the rich, but not the workers and the buyers of the product produced. And now, how can you spoke about giving to the needy? How can you give something that you have not accumulated? If you don't have something, how do you give out of being void and empty? And another thing that I wanted to speak about, when you speak about socialism, there is no country that is flourishing because of socialism. There is no country that is practicing socialism. And the only way that countries flourish is by capitalism. So you define capitalism won't work. And now, since the first speaker from our side, the opposition, has outlined how these two are different, I will continue to expound on what makes the Christian capitalism. So Christian capitalism focuses on the Bible. It is branded by the Bible. So when we speak about Christian capitalism, we speak about the type of capitalism that is found in the Bible and that is propelled by everything not taken. Christian capitalism is branded and found by the Christian values. So, which means when you practice capitalism as a Christian, you only do what God says is capitalism.
Point of information.
So when we check in the book of 1 Timothy 5:18, it suggests that you have your workers, you should give your workers what is due to them, which means there is no exploitation in this type of capitalism that you're trying to bring to
Point
the
of
masses.
information.
Leviticus 19:13 says you should not rob your neighbor. So when you speak about exploitation, not taken, when you speak about exploitation, which means in the Christian space, it can't be right, since we are focusing on the Christian type of capitalism. He spoke about the Jewish type of capitalism and the Muslim type of capitalism. So you should note the difference. We are not speaking about capitalism from a general point of view. And one other thing I wanted to speak about, in the book of James 5, from 4 to 14, God says he avenges when people are exploited. So that should show you how God is interested in this capitalism that shows and pushes love. And without capitalism, there won't be work and also progress in the Christian space. I mean, we just offered now. How can we offer without capitalism? How can we offer without having money in our pockets?
Point of information.
That you should think about. Without capitalism, also when we check in the Bible, Paul also had a tent business with Aquila and Priscilla. So he also was a capitalist. And are we saying that Paul was a hypocrite? Then he must have been. Are we saying that T.D. Jakes is a hypocrite? He must have been, if this is what we are taking. So now, without capitalism, the church cannot flourish. Because those people, capitalists, are the ones that fund a whole lot of things inside the church. The sound that you see. Our people have to go work and practice capitalism and be engaged in there so that they can help the church go forth. I take your point of information.
It seems that there's a lot of confusion with whatever you say. The verse that you quoted about exploitation, God didn't talk about capitalism. He says you shouldn't exploit your workers.
Yes, that's exactly
what are workers in capitalism? What is capitalism? Capitalism includes both the workers, the employees.
Point of information.
So now you can't speak about capitalism and not speak about workers, because both parties have to participate in there. There should be a subordinate and a boss. So
point
that
of
is your
information
worker in your context. So now with capitalism, our conversation will revolve around the Christian type of capitalism. We'll focus on the capitalism that is practiced by Christians who are looking in the Bible principles. So I would like to submit with that being said.
Sorry, before you start, I would just like to say you can press a POI in the last minute. So I'll just announce if the speaker has an introduction, then you can request any POI.
Um, observed. I'm the third speaker on the affirmative side. So our stance and what we believe on is that Christian capitalism is hypocrisy, meaning that what Christians believe on, when it's included and there's a relationship with capitalism, it actually contradicts what they believe on, if we get the point. Just wanted to point that out before we get anywhere else. Right. Basically, okay, let's talk about capitalism. What is capitalism? Capitalism is a free-willing dealing individually. A person is free-willing in dealing with other people. He's saying that if I can get as much profit as I can get, I'm going to make sure that I make out of people as much as I can get. That's the base of capitalism. No matter how much you can actually drive it, secular, Jewish, whatever they're trying to drive to us, the capitalism is saying that if I can profit from you, I'll make sure I profit as much as I can. That's capitalism. Okay, now that we have aligned that, let's align Christianity also. Let's get to Christians. What are Christians? Christians are people who follow the beliefs and decision of Jesus Christ. Now, the second speaker tried to illustrate that Jesus Christ was believed in capitalism and was driving the capitalism system. But if I turn to my Bible, and everywhere that I turn to, Jesus Christ was against all the wealth a person can get. If I can quote the Bible, forgive me if I quote it wrong, it says that it is better for a camel to get to a nickel than a wealthy person to get to heaven. So what I'm trying to say is that what Jesus Christ was trying to make people understand is that capitalism or wealth as a Christian, trying to manipulate people, not taken. Christian, what we are debating today is not just capitalism.
Point of
What
information.
we're debating today is there a relationship between Christian and capitalism?
Point of information.
And if there is, isn't that hypocritical of our
Point of
religion
information.
or our beliefs? Okay.
Point
So
of information.
capitalism is not
Point of
interested in
information.
making wealth to give to people. Now, the second speaker came to us and told us that we are trying to gain wealth to give to people. Christianity as a whole is about individual.
Point of information.
How much can I get? How much can I get from someone? It's about me and me and me. It's not interested to gain wealth to the poor.
Point of
How
information.
capitalist people will look at giving to the poor is, if I give to the poor, I'm not able to actually get to the way I want to give. They want to get as more wealth as they want to give. Now, the opposition side wants to tell us that there is a difference between secular Christian capitalism and Jewish capitalism, and they're not telling us about how is that Christian capitalism is going to work differently to how it's actually working now. They're telling us that Christian capitalism, they're trying to make illusion to us that there is a way that a person can actually work towards capitalism without actually hypocritically doing away with the attitude and the beliefs of Christians. There's no way in the Bible where they're just telling us to gain as much wealth as we want. But it's actually teaching us to give to the poor. If I can ask you, the first church, which is the Acts, who were selling their property, everything that they belonged to them, how much they have? How much they actually have? Were they actually getting profit before they actually give to the position they have?
Point of information.
What we are saying as a Christian, what the little that we have now, whether it's just 10 clothes and your brother doesn't have a first clothes, you should be giving to them.
Point of
Not
information.
trying to get as much as you can get from your brother. You should actually give him to not take it. So, how are we describing this Christian capitalism? How is it different from the secular capitalism? What are we saying as Christians? If I'm saying that if my brother is needy, I won't take note of them. But I will give into them. I'll make sure that I get as much wealth to them as possible. There is nowhere in the Bible, I have searched, guys, there is nowhere in the Bible where Jesus Christ is actually encouraging wealth. Nowhere in the Bible is saying that get as much wealth and then give to the poor. But he's saying give to your brother what you have. And that is our beliefs. And capitalism is against that. That's just the basis of capitalism. Whether you want to call it Christian capitalism or Jewish capitalism, it's just the nature of it. It can never work that way. No, now I'd like to put it down to us that if you can't take capitalism as a system, what system should we take? Now, the second speaker actually talked about socialism. What socialism is trying to drive is saying that let us distribute all the wealth that we have equally. If South Africa as a country can distribute the wealth they have equally, I am sure of this. If someone can pay 10 million to actually, for people to watch a soccer match, they can actually distribute to each other, to poor people in the road, and poor people who don't have anything to actually live by. So if we as a country, if we as a church are interested in the idea of socialism, we should be actually giving now what the people that we have now, and turn our nature, let's use the values that the Jesus Christ is teaching us to actually better other brothers and sisters that are not.
Madam Speaker, today we came as team opposition with a very clear and resolute mandate. And the mandate was to have a debate, not a symposium with team opposition. What we're having here today is rather a panel of discussion from team proposition, because from first to the last speaker, they've been giving a definition of what Christian capitalism is, of what hypocrisy stands for. They were not giving us any point or any line of contention that was worth arguing, but nonetheless, we will engage them. Now, because of that, Madam Speaker, we think today, as team opposition, without any fear or any dubiosity, we think we stand a chance today to win this debate. And simply because, ladies and gentlemen, today, team proposition failed to distinguish between being selfish and having a self-interest. Why are we saying that? Now, allow my pen of correction to slide over the weak assumptions provided by team propositions when it was so unjustifiable when they made the following claims. Now, team proposition came here and told us that capitalism is about having the free will to determine who controls the economy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is in contrast to the principles of God. God gave us a free will, and by them saying that because capitalism is a hypocrisy, because it is having the agents of a free will, they're simply saying God is a hypocrite because he gave us free will. And by that, they're saying that very free will is the one that people use to exploit the poor, of which it doesn't make sense. And that completely nullifies their point of saying capitalism is about having the free will of what happens or who controls the majority of the economy. Secondly, Madam Speaker, we want to sort of argue against the point where they're saying that capitalism has left the economy in the hands of the minority or the bourgeoisie and has left the marginalized, exploited. Now, on the contrary, ladies and gentlemen, they went on to tell us that because of that, the people have been, capitalism, it perpetuates the idea of the rich gets richer and the poor get poorer. Now, it comes down to a very simple question. How many Christians foundations have helped people build schools? How many Christians foundations, the very foundations that they claim that they are out of capitalism, how many of those organizations have helped to alleviate poverty in our countries, in our continent, and in the world at large? Not taken at the moment. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's very problematic. Why? Because for the whole more than 15 minutes, team proposition came here. We acknowledge the fact that they argued so well, but it's very unfortunate that they didn't argue within the parameters of the discussion, because we did indicate that today's motion, it's not talking about secular capitalism, it's talking about Christian capitalism, and because it's talking about Christian capitalism, it implies that this kind of capitalism is built on kingdom principles, not on secular and mainstream economy. And because of that, we acknowledge them for having their time to research, but unfortunately, their analysis didn't fall within the parameters of this discussion. Now, they went on to propose a solution or socialism as a solution. We truly don't think that socialism, ladies and gentlemen, would work. In fact, there is no prominent country where socialism is thriving. And because why? Socialism forces dictatorship, and beyond it forcing dictatorship, it contrasts the words of Jesus when Jesus says the poor will be among you. With socialism, it simply means that we will all be equal, we will all be rich, and by that it sort of contrasts the word of God by saying the poor will be among you. So, ladies and gentlemen, we came here, we told you that in today's debate, we are not necessarily debating capitalism, but the kind of capitalism that we're debating is Christian capitalism, of which Team Proposition failed to engage us in that regard. Firmly, positively, and adamantly, we still stand as Team Proposition, saying that the motion at hand stands vehemently opposed. I thank you.
Well, this is what I've had to deal with for like 2 weeks of us meeting. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. I'm very scared right now, and I thank God I wasn't part of the debate. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and enjoy the rest of the night. Thank you.
Praise the Lord. I greet you in the name of Jesus Christ. We are still in the house of the Lord. Are we still happy? Yes. Have you greeted the person next to you?